Math 8, Unit 2, Transformations, Lesson 2, Part 2. Transformations. We're going to go over the translation coordinate rules. Okay, consider this. Translate the red triangle 3 units right and 3 units down. What are the coordinates of the image? So you can see this has already been done. The red image moved over 3 to the right and down 3. A started at -2, 1. That's -2, 1. That's where A is located. And where A prime is located is right here. That looks like it is 1, -2. Okay, that's interesting. Let's look what happened to B. 2, 5, that's where B currently is. It moved over and down, and now it is at 5, 2. Okay, next we take C. C is at 1, 2, and it moves over 3, down 3, and now it is at 4, -1. Okay, taking a look at all 3 of these points that got moved, what pattern is happening here? Now, in the first two, I noticed that -2, 1 becomes 1, -2, and 2, 5 becomes 5, 2. That doesn't hold for the last one, though. That is a rule for a different type of transformation, but not this one. It just so happens there. Let's actually take a quick, good look here. What makes -2 change into a 1? What makes 2 change into a 5? And the same thing makes 1 change into a 4. Well, actually it looks like we could add the same thing. If we add 3, -2 becomes 1. 2 becomes 5, and adding 3, 1 becomes 4. So we can add 3 every time, and that's actually exactly what we're going to do for the coordinate rule. We are going to add 3 every time, so x becomes x plus 3. Alright, let's look at the y's. We go from 1 to -2, from 5 to 2, and from 2 to -1. Each one is getting smaller. In fact, from 1 to -2 we go down 3. From 5 to 2 we go down 3. And from 2 to -1 you go down 3. Each of them go down 3 units. So you end up going from y, the original position, to y minus 3, the new position. This is your first example of a coordinate rule. This rule tells you what happens to every point that gets transformed. Every point will go through that transformation. So we could do it on another point that actually wasn't in the shape. If I pick a point like right here, this is at -1, 6. Well, -1, 6, if I transform it according to this rule where xy becomes x plus 3, y minus 3, well then it's going to become -1 plus 3 and 6 minus 3. That is 2, 3. So it would end up at 2, 3. That would be my new point, over 3 and down 3. In fact, the over 3 and the down 3 are directly related to those numbers. So, to translate a figure A units horizontally and B units vertically in the coordinate plane, add A to the x coordinate and add B to the y coordinates of the vertices. Positive values of A and B represent up and right. Negative values of A and B represent down and left. So in general, the coordinate rules for a translation are x, y becomes x plus A, y plus B. In a translation, the original figure and its image are congruent. So what you need to write in your notes is right here. You translate a figure, write A, that's the number, and up B, so it'd be left if A is less than 0. That just means negative. And it's down if B is 0. That's just if B is negative. So x comma y is x plus a, comma, y plus a. That is how you translate. That's the translation coordinate rules. It's just a different number for a and b. So maybe while you're copying that down, I will give a couple of quick examples. If I move right 7 up 3, this would be x plus 7 because right moves plus on the 7s, or plus on the x's. Up moves y on the y's. So this should be y plus 3. Now a few slides back in the other video, I had you write down this. You'll notice that y plus is up, y minus is down, left is x minus, and right is x plus. So notice that right here, it's x plus because it's up 3, and y minus because it was down 3. Okay. Next, let's just look at an example. This does not need to go into your notes. xy becomes x minus 4, y minus 7. Move quadrilateral MDAW according to the rule given. Write the coordinates of the new image, quadrilateral M prime, D prime, A prime, W prime. So primes are used to indicate the new shape. So just applying the coordinate rule, every x is going to become x minus 4. So negative 1, I'm going to subtract 4 from it. That's negative 1 minus 4. That's negative 5. 1, I'm going to do 1 minus 4, and that is negative 3. 4, I'm going to do 4 minus 4, and that's 0. Negative 1, well, negative 1 minus 4 is negative 5. I'm going to do the same thing with the y's. Well, I'll use the coordinate rule. Every y is going to become y minus 7. So 5 becomes 5 minus 7, which is negative 2. 5 becomes, again, 5 minus 7, which is negative 2. 3 becomes 3 minus 7, that's negative 4. And 4 becomes 4 minus 7, that's negative 3. So this gives us our 4 points. It's kind of gotten a little messy in there, so I'm going to rewrite them. M prime is at negative 5, negative 2. D prime is at negative 3, negative 2. A prime is at 0, negative 4. And W prime is at negative 5, negative 3. So drawing that over here on the graph to see what it looks like, M is at negative 5, negative 2. That's M prime. D is at negative 3, negative 2. D prime. A is at 0, negative 4. Well, A prime is. And W prime is at negative 5, negative 3. And you should notice that these two shapes are congruent. Now let's describe this in words rather than in the coordinate rule. It looks like every one of them went left 4 and down 7. That's left 4 and down 7. Notice how that corresponds with, well, xy becomes, left 4 is x minus is for left, 4, and down is y minus, and we're going to go down 7. Okay, again, that's using the coordinates. This should be in your notes. Up is y plus, down is y minus, right is x plus, and left is x minus. So these directly correlate with each other. Okay, describe the transformation. The blue figure is the pre-image. There are 3 things you need to connect in the brain about these translations, which is a type of transformation. You need to be able to understand the visual transformation. That is what you see right here. We've got the pre-image and the image I think we're going to have the image be the blue one, and the pre-image here, the red one. It didn't. Oh, sorry, it does say the blue figure is the pre-image. So I'm going to change that. So the pre-image is the blue one, and the image is the red one. Okay, so that's the visual transformation, just the picture of it. You can see that it's moved, you can see they're congruent. That's the picture, visual, what you see with your eyes. Okay, verbal description. Sometimes these get written down, they're just not out loud verbal. But the verbal description is describing what happened. Now, this is a slide, which is a translation. So I would describe this first by telling that it was a translation. I'm just going to use the basic verb translate. I'm going to translate. Now, it looks like it translates up 3 and left 5. So I would describe this as translate left 5 up 3. That is the verbal description, and sometimes it gets written down. You need to be able to connect the picture with that description. Also, you need to connect both of these with the coordinate rule, showing that x, because we're going left 5, it's x minus for left 5. And since we're going up 2, it's y plus 3. Okay, and you can actually see this x minus 5 and this y plus 3 in the graph. Here is the y plus 3. It's what moves it up 3. Here is the x minus 5. It's what moves it left 5. Because every x coordinate is going to have 5 subtracted. Every y coordinate is going to have 3 added. You need to connect those 3 things in your brain. The visual, the graph, the picture. The verbal, that's the description using words in English. And the coordinate rule, that's telling you what every point x, y becomes. It becomes x minus 5, y plus 3 in this case. All right, in your practice, let's take a look. Number 1, determine whether each set of figures shows a translation. The figure with the star or the asterisk next to it is the pre-image. So these are yes/no questions. So you look at the first one, is it translation? Yeah, it is. You quickly answer it and you can go ahead and move it on. Let's take a look at number 2. Perform each transformation and identify the coordinates of the image. We're going to go ahead and do one of these together. Translate left 4 units and down 3 units. So everything is going to go left 4 and down 3. So let's start with A. It goes left 4 and down 3. This is A prime. By the way, I'm going to need to say where A prime is located. I'm going to go ahead and get it out of the way real quick. It's over at negative 5, 1, because you have to go down 5, up 1 to get to it. Or sorry, back 5, left 5, up 1. D is going to go left 4 units and down 3 units, and that is D prime. B is going to go also left 4 units and down 3 units. There's B prime. Actually, let's go ahead and put B prime over here. I meant to do B prime second. It looks like B prime is located at negative 2, 0. Okay, D prime we actually already have. It's at negative 5, negative 4. C prime. It's left 4, down 3. Left 4, down 3. And that puts C prime right here at negative 1, negative 3. So this is the transformation done. You're doing 2 of the 3 things that I talked about being connected. The picture with the verbal description. In fact, you're using a verbal description to do the transformation to create the picture. You're doing everything here except the coordinate rule. You'll get plenty of opportunities to do that on later problems. So you'll do the other 3 of these the same way. 3, 4, 5, and 6 are review problems, either from earlier this year or from 7th grade. Number 7, determine if each situation describes a translation. And there's 4 of them here. Let's just do one of them together real quick. A door swings open as a student leaves the classroom. Or if you've ever seen a door swing open, it doesn't slide, unless it's a sliding door, but this specifically says it swings open. A door will swing on the hinge point, which is not a translation. So no, and I would say that it's not a translation because it turns. Translations have to move every point in the same direction, the same distance. Okay, number 8, consider the two translations. You're going to describe the translation. Use words like up, down, left, right. The figure with the asterisk is the pre-image. So, you know, you're going to say translate left or right this much and up or down this much. Part B, you're going to, it gives you the areas of the pre-images, and you need to find the areas of the translated images. This is meant to have you think about what it means for them to be congruent. What is, if two shapes are congruent, what is true about their areas? Okay, part C. Using the answers to B, describe the effect the translations on the area of the given figures. Is it true for all translations? So you should notice something there in part B, and it's asking if it's true for every translation.